the Amhara region of northern Ethiopia, the sky has become a weapon of terror. Since August 2023, the federal government has deployed drones, fighter jets, and helicopters against its own people. The targets are not military installations. They are schools, markets, families returning from church. 125 documented drone strikes, 754 civilians killed, 231 wounded. These are not just numbers. These are mothers, children, farmers, teachers. October 24th, 2025. The Global Amhara Diplomatic Task Force, GADTF, strongly condemns the Ethiopian government's grave violations of international humanitarian law amid the ongoing war in Ethiopia's Amhara region. The government's intensified and indiscriminate use of drones, warplanes, and heavy weaponry against civilian populations constitutes a consistent and well-documented pattern of grave breaches of fundamental human rights and international humanitarian norms. In October 2025 alone, the Ethiopian regime conducted over 40 drone strikes targeting civilian infrastructure, including health facilities, resulting in the deaths of innocent civilians, including a pregnant woman in labor. These violations extend beyond non-combatants. Captured fighters who surrendered have also been subjected to horrific crimes. Among the latest victims are Ms. Balemvasa, a 19-year-old female combatant, and Ms. Tigist Wodajo Yima, who were tortured, their bodies mutilated, and their remains desecrated in public displays. Ms. Wasa's skin was savagely cut from her body, where she bore an Amhara tattoo, and soldiers were seen celebrating over her remains, an act intended to terrorize the Amhara population and incite ethnic conflict with far-reaching consequences. These barbaric acts constitute flagrant violations of international humanitarian law, specifically Article 3 of the Geneva Conventions and Article 4 of Additional Protocol 2, which prohibit violence to life and person, including murder, mutilation, cruel treatment, and torture of individuals not actively participating in hostilities. Such actions also perpetuate gender-based violence, further exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in the region. In contrast, the Amhara Fano forces have demonstrated adherence to international norms as confirmed by the International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC. Captured government soldiers have been treated humanely, with access granted to ICRC representatives for visitation and oversight. The Fano, a grassroots Amhara resistance movement, was formed to protect its people from atrocities, persecution, and displacement. Facing systematic attacks by government forces, the Fano stands in self-defense, fighting for survival, dignity, and justice against marginalization and genocide. In view of the foregoing, the Global Amhara Diaspora Diplomatic Task Force calls for the following urgent actions. 1. Independent investigation. We urge the International Committee of the Red Cross, the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and other relevant humanitarian organizations to conduct an immediate, impartial investigation into these violations and document the war crimes and crimes against humanity committed in the Amhara region. 2. International accountability. We call on the international community, including the United Nations, the European Union, the United States, and other peace-loving nations, to impose targeted sanctions on Ethiopian officials and institutions responsible for these heinous acts. 3. Global condemnation. We appeal to the United Nations Security Council, the UN Human Rights Council, Amnesty International, and Human Rights Watch to publicly condemn these violations and advocate for justice. Failure to address these grave violations risks normalizing impunity, undermining global efforts to uphold human rights and international humanitarian law, and further destabilizing the region. The international community must act swiftly to ensure accountability and protect the fundamental principles of international humanitarian law. The people of Amhara are not asking for sympathy. They are demanding justice. They are demanding that the world sees what is happening. They are demanding that the killing stops. How many more victims will it take before the world pays attention?